I'm Tanya, and this is Tanya's Cooking School. And tonight with me I have Finn. Finn's 10. He's my son. And we are going to make salted brown butter caramel sauce that's delicious. So what we're going to do is we're going to first brown the butter so that it can cool a little bit. And love butter, so I always scrape the wrapper so we get all the butter. And then just to make sure we don't burn it, I'm just going to turn it to sort of a medium heat. And then this will go pretty quickly. So if I take, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 minutes, and then I'll show you what it looks like right at the end. Okay, so this is us melting butter, and you can see that the fat is sort of separating itself. So just stirring this a little bit. You do have to watch this, otherwise it like bubbles up real big. So just sit here and have a nice glass of wine or something, and then every once in a while you just need to sort of mix this and watch it. So it's been maybe 2 minutes. Now it's going to bubble. Now, we're in Colorado, and if things bubble up a lot, then you could use sort of a boil over. If it ever gets real high, this is also great for like pasta and stuff. So I always just keep one of these close. As soon as I put it on there, it settles down, which is awesome. And then I can also turn my heat down a little bit. So I'm sort of at medium still. Okay, just a couple more minutes and we'll have our brown butter. Okay, so we have our brown butter and it's just starting. It did boil up quite a bit, so no joke. When it starts boiling, especially in high altitude, it goes crazy. But we have a nice sort of tan color underneath here, and smells good. You can sort of smell the caramely-ness of the browning. So that's awesome. So we have that, and it's good to let this cool down just a little bit. So again, this is 1.5 sticks of butter or 12 tablespoons, and we're just going to put that aside, and then we'll start our caramel. So we need 2 cups of sugar. Let me just bring this over here so we don't have to worry about it. There you go. Shake it a little bit. Nice job. So Finn put 1 cup in. Oh. Keep going. Here. Go. Mas.
I know, Mom, I know.
Okay, let me get it here.
Yeah.
Okay, you put that in there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is sort of fun and sort of dangerous at the same time. And it can go wrong. So
Mom, should I just pour this cream now?
You can pour the cream. We need we're going to have 1 cup of cream. So we're going to have our brown butter ready. We're going to have a cup of cream ready. And it's probably good if it's not too cold. Otherwise, like the caramel goes crazy and hardens. And then we're also going to, I love salt. And I sort of have a coarse sea salt here. We'll finish with this. And this is going to take, I don't know, maybe about 5 minutes to cook. And so what you want to do is, again, sort of sit here and just stir a little bit. And I do have a thermometer that can be used to just check the temperature, although Finn likes to play with it too. So, oh, nice. Okay, so I have this thermometer, and you don't necessarily need to use it, but if you want to watch it, you know, once it's sort of amber colored, it will be about 350 degrees. So once it starts melting a little bit and clumping, I'll be back to sort of show you that step, which will probably happen in a couple minutes. Okay, so the sugar now is starting to clump. It's probably been about 3 minutes. And again, I'm just slow and steady wins the race here. Just going to keep sort of mixing it up to keep the heat even so I don't have too big of clumps. But this will all clump before it's over. Hopefully in small little clumps so it melts at the same Great. Okay, so we're about another 2 minutes in, and you can see that we just have a bunch of little clumps, which is good because that probably means it will cook pretty even. And it's starting to melt sort of on the side. That's awesome. Looking good so far. This is a little tricky and sometimes it doesn't turn out. So you have to mind the stove when you're doing this. Okay, so we're still working away here, probably about another 2 minutes. And you can see that now it's sort of a tan color. We're still gonna go a lot darker with the color of this, but I'm still mixing away here, trying to chop it up so it will melt all evenly. And you can see I also switched to a whisk just because the temp is so hot. It sort of sticks to the spatula. I'm also never sure what degree the spatula is good towards, so better to use metal as it heats up here. And now it's just sort of a constant whisking. And again, if you want to see how close you are, you have that thermometer, you want to stick that in there. Be careful. You can see I have an oven mitt. I like oven mitts because sometimes you forget how hot the side of the handle is. And the oven mitt you just always have on, so it's harder to goof
Just
up.
for safety.
Okay. Don't drop it in there.
Mom, stop shaking. I might actually drop it.
Don't drop it.
Okay, it's about way past 50.
Okay, take it out. Turn it off.
369.
Okay. So we have it good. We just have to sort of get rid of these clumps. So I'm just gonna work the clumps a little bit here. And I don't mind a little bit of sugar, you know, little crystals of sugar in the sauce. It sort of tastes good. But I'll just mix it off heat. Okay, so at this point, what we're gonna do is add the butter. And I'm just gonna scrape it so I get all the little brown bits in it. All the little brown bits. Okay, and then we'll mix. And it smells really good so far.
Yes, very
Okay, you wanna, now let me pour that in, please. Yeah, because this is sort of, it sometimes can get a little dangerous here. So I'm just gonna do a little drizzle. You can see how crazy that can get. Once it calms down, so just do a little bit at a time, otherwise you get a huge mess. And sometimes like a big, huge clump. Whoops. Probably good to wear aprons for this too.
Yes, I'll get that.
No, I'm good. Can't stop now.
I wasn't talking about you, I was talking about me.
Nice. Okay, you see it's clumpy.
No. Looks really good, Mom. It's really good.
Well, thank you, Finn. So we're just
My
gonna,
tasting spoon.
I can feel that there's a little bit of clumping going on, so you can see that sort of clumpy too. So just mix this in here. It's not ready to taste and it's super, super hot, Finn.
I know. I was just grabbing my tasting spoon.
So I'm just gonna turn on the heat and just let it boil again. Okay, so I'm gonna turn it off. It's boiling. And I do have a little bit of clumpies on here, but that's okay. That's a delicious treat for the kids to take care of after we're done. And now I'm just gonna let it cool down. And we're gonna add our salt. We're gonna add about a tablespoon of salt in. Let's do a little bit less of a tablespoon because I like salted butter. So it already has salted butter in it. There's a tablespoon right on the counter. That's a teaspoon.
This is about smaller than a tablespoon.
That's right. So let's use a tablespoon. Can you use that tablespoon right there?
Sure.
Awesome. So let me see what you got there. Why don't you do it above something so if you spill it? Okay, let's start with that. So it looks like we have maybe, I don't know, 2 teaspoons instead. And now this is like super hot, so you can't necessarily try it right away. But I don't mind putting some salt in now, and then if I want to, I could just sprinkle it on top later, because it's that good. Look at that piece of caramel. Yeah. And this is pretty easy cleanup. I mean, it looks pretty bad, but you know, caramel just cleans up with some good hot water. So good. So what should we make with this?
I know. We should caramelize apples.
That would be good. I've done that. Or just dipping sauce for apples.
Yeah.
And I'm going to show you a sour apple drink, sour apple martini with caramel sauce. Yes, and there's nothing better than a salted caramel latte. And so I can, once this cools off, we can do that as well. Yum.
And I'll be the taster for the coffee.
Good. Okay, so it's cooled down a little bit, but it's still really, really hot. And if you want to give these away as gifts for, you know, like for a hosted gift or something like that, you can get these 4-ounce jars. And while it's still really hot, it'd probably be better to use a funnel, but I don't have one with me. So you want to get it pretty close to the top. Then please don't. It's super, super hot.
I know.
And then I'm just going to put it
Mom,
up.
can I bring one to my teacher?
No. It'd be a good teacher gift though, too. Okay, and then we're going to put this on. Be really careful. And the jar is going to get really, really hot. And if you just take this with all the hot caramel and you flip it over, it actually will heat up the top of the jar. You got it on there good? And at some point it will snap and seal it. So you have nice jarred caramel sauce. And then for the other caramel, we're going to put it in one of these little squeeze bottles. I just got this at the grocery store. They're like $1. And this is where all the magic is going to happen once it goes in here. So I'm going to wait till it cools down just a little bit more for that. Okay, so we're getting ready. I'm just going to pour this in here. Probably a dangerous way to pour it, but I'm super hungry now. So got to finish this up so we can get to dessert.